What's going on, everybody? It's Dan back with another Moonshine talking. It's been a couple weeks. I hope everybody's been doing well. I've been doing pretty good. Just been very busy at work. Work's been kicking my ass. Got a couple of people that are going on vacation or have been on vacation or calling out and all that sort of thing. So it's been kind of rough. I work in a small business and we have a small staff. We're a little understaffed right now. So whenever one person goes down, it turns into a thing where the rest of us just kind of we have to pick up the pieces and sally forth and all that sort of stuff. So it's been busy. I don't want to even think that anything's too dramatic has been going on. Got some fun stories that I'll share at some point, but related to work and some insanity. But yeah, other than that, just I don't know. You see it kind of like rearranged in here a little bit. Mind the fact that you can look into my bathroom. There's nothing too crazy going on in there, but usually I'd have the EHG flag sitting up there, but sometimes it gets it's a pain in the ass because not to get too deep into my personal life, but it's just kind of a pain in the ass having it up there because it's one of those things where sometimes when I live in an apartment complex and when the maintenance crew comes by, it kind of sucks for them because now they have to walk around to try to get around the thing because they don't want to be rude and knock the thing over. So it's just a little bit easier. I'll come up with some different setup at some point so people don't have to stare into my bathroom. But yeah, so just trying a different little setup, trying to clean things up in here. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but behind me I had a Roman chair. I don't know if anyone knows what a Roman chair is, but use those for back hyperextensions. And I'm trying to get rid of that because I don't really use it, and it just takes up space. And I really don't like a lot of clutter, so I was trying to get rid of that last week, and it just didn't work out. And yeah, just cleaning up in here, trying to get a couple of different couple things in here, move things around in my place, and just kind of get a little different situation going on in here, a little different setup to make things either a little bit more convenient or a little bit more cozy and comfortable and all that sort of thing. But yeah, so anyhow, I'm just kind of babbling about my personal life, which I'm sure you're all riveted by. So you're probably asking yourself, Dan, what are you doing a video about? I know you didn't come on here to just talk about home decor and your job and all the insanity that comes through that. So I am here to talk about the Black Sabbath box set that just came out, Anno Domini. It, I heard about this probably a few months ago. I just happened to randomly, like a lot of things, I just happened to randomly find out about it. And I was like, shit, because a lot most people know you already know a lot about this. Most people watch my stuff. You're all very knowledgeable, more so than I am in a lot of respects with the music and metal and all that sort of stuff. But the Tony Martin era version of Black Sabbath, I've never had copies of anything they've done. Headless Cross is one of my favorite albums. I just never owned it. Never owned any of that era of stuff. It's never been reissued up until this point. A lot of this stuff got remastered. Forbidden got remixed. And it's just so once I heard about it, I was stoked, and I was trying to get my hands on it. And going through Rhino Records, which is who was distributing it, was kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know what was going on there. So I went up and called my local record store, talked to them. I said, hey, it's Dan, blah blah blah. Can you get me a copy of this? And they're like, yeah, no problem. If you want to put a deposit on it, go ahead. And I was like, I'll get back to you on that because I was still thinking I was debating between whether I was going to get the vinyl or the CDs or whatever the case might be. So anyhow, and then the time came and went when it got released, and I just looked the day it came out. I looked up, and sure enough, they had it. So I called them, flew down there, and yeah, it was sitting there behind the counter, just waiting, calling my name, saying, "Come pick me up, Dan. This is here for you." So honestly, not to read too much into it, but I think that they probably bought it, and they're like, "Yeah, he'll come. He's going to come get this eventually. We know this guy. He's going to grab this, and we definitely know this isn't going to sit here long." So yeah, so I picked it up, got to listen to it. Albums sound great. I suppose I could pull all this stuff out. I'm sure if you've seen one video, you've seen five. They're all the same things. A lot of people doing vinyl stuff. Melanie Loves Death Metal did one I watched yesterday. It was good. Trevor from Fumes of Hatred did a fun one where he was like the Marcel of metal, where he did everything. He just kind of mimed everything because somebody in the house was sleeping. So I thought that was really funny. It was, I enjoyed it for what it was. And yeah, so I mean, I would have to say, because most of the people got the vinyl one, I got the CD one because I'm more of a CD guy. But I don't know if it's available again, then I'll if there are any vinyl ones available, I'll probably pick it up because it's a cool thing to have and kind of to build up a collection. But yeah, there's the booklet, one of the booklets that came with it. Uh, I'm not going to go through this too deeply. They got a tour thing. They did a rehashed tour packet from Headless Cross. The flag, which the one I got was a little bit smaller than the one I think came with the vinyl, which is odd, of course, because vinyls are bigger. But it's pretty cool. It would be. I don't think the day will ever come where I'll be able to get this autographed by the band. I think they'll pass before I ever see that come to fruition. But you never know. I'll just pull out one of the CDs because I was just listening to Forbidden, and a lot of people have said this, and I agree. The packaging stinks. I mean, I don't know why they did that. I'm sure for financial reasons that's why they packaged it that way. But it's the like cheap cardboard insert with the little cellophane packaging around the CD. It's kind of lame. It was that was a little bit disappointing, but other than that, I can't really complain about this because I enjoyed all these albums. I enjoy Headless Cross. I'm glad to have a copy of it. Um, as far as going a little bit deeper into detail, uh, Tony Martin is a great singer. He's very underrated. This version of the band is very underrated. Most people they fall into the Dio Ozzy camp. Which one's better? They both have their merits. It's hard for me to choose. I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan. I've loved them since I was a little kid, as I'm sure most of you have. And it's hard to pick because there's distinct styles between the two, between Ozzy's vocals with the band versus Dio's, and then of course, the body of work that Ozzy has with the band is a lot larger. Uh, Dio's got such a freaking powerful voice. He's just an amazing singer, and Ozzy's got that unique style. So it's kind of hard to pick between them. Like I was telling the guys at the record store, because the kid behind the counter, he asked me, well, what's so special about this? Why'd they make it a box set? And so I was explaining to him Tony Martin, how it's kind of like a very underrated version of the band. And he's got a very powerful, very bluesy, very soulful voice. Very, very good singer. Can't say enough about him. He doesn't have the power or like the delivery that Dio does, so I would put him up there probably below Dio and above probably like Ian Gillan or Glenn Hughes. Uh, that's also just as an aside. I also don't have the Born Again ones. I don't have any of that stuff. They didn't have Eternal Idol with this. I was going to look it up before I did this because I know there was a reason for it. I'm sure contractual or label issues or whatever, legal issues or whatever the case was, but that's not a part of this box set. I'm sure somebody at some point will come to some agreement and do this once they realize this was profitable. Somebody's going to want to cash in, and you'll see that. But as far as the stuff on the albums, Headless Cross, I can't say enough about that. I mean, the whole album is killer. Headless Cross, the song is amazing. When Death Calls, Devil and Daughter, just the whole thing's great. Here was good. I liked Anno Mundi. I know I'm kind of putting it together as one word. It kind of it has a mix of like Children of the Sea and Zero the Hero. I don't know if anyone else heard that, but that's kind of what it sounded like to me. The Sabbath Stones is really good. Even towards the end, there's kind of almost like a flavoring, a hint of Where Eagles Dare by Iron Maiden. But probably more purists would say no, it sounds a lot more like Black Sabbath, the song, which I get that. I could hear that too. but there's Valhalla was a really hard driving song. I know this was allegedly a lot of people thought it was a concept album because lyrically a lot of it was about Norse mythology, but according to the band, it wasn't. But yeah, those are really good songs. S- Forbidden was interesting because I didn't know too much about it. I just heard a lot of people crap on it over the years and say it was one of the worst albums Sabbath ever made. I didn't know Ernie C from Body Count produced it. I didn't know that Ice T did a song on it. Honestly, I wasn't very familiar with that. It wasn't really Illusion of Power. That really wasn't high on my list of good songs from Forbidden. I liked Can't Get Close Enough. I Won't Cry for You. Sick and Tired. The title track was really good. It just kind of it sounded like kind of standard fare hard rock heavy metal for the time, and it wasn't awful like I've heard people say. It wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't like it didn't like blow me away. Honestly, it was the first time I listened to it, and I that was my first impression of it. And yeah, so that's that as far as a review of Forbidden. And then Cross Purposes. Cross Purposes I really liked. Eyewitness was really good. Eyewitness, it was this was the first album that because Tony Martin was in there uh, two times. He was in for Eternal Idol and Tear, and then he left when they got back together with Dio and did Dehumanizer, which is one of my favorite albums that Sabbath's ever done. And then whatever falling out there with Dio, and then they brought him back into the fold, and then you got Cross Purposes, and then Forbidden. And Cross Purposes, especially on the first song, Eyewitness, you can hear that they're in that dehumanizer era of the songwriting and the playing. Like you hear little notes of like TV crimes and stuff like that. So that was cool. Uh, Actually, I want to give a hat tip to Melanie once again from Melanie Loves Death Metal because she was talking about how some of this almost sounded grungy. I get that because on Virtual Death, if you listen to it, you can definitely hear that kind of like that Alice in Chains type of dual harmonies and stuff like that that they were doing. So you can definitely hear a little bit of that going on in this. Dying for Love, that was probably the song on the album that Tony Martin's vocals were probably on the most they were the most over the top, but in a good way. Not cheesy or whatnot. But he was full on display. He was on full on display with that song. I really enjoyed that. Evil Eye was really cool. I didn't know that Eddie Van Halen. I learned a lot of stuff just by reading up on all this and. Evil Eye, I didn't know that Eddie Van Halen co-wrote it, but they didn't credit him because of for legal issues and whatnot. But that's a really really cool song. That one probably it's got such hook and grooves, and I could see where a lot of bands that get into more like the doom and the stoner and groove metal and all that sort of stuff. I can see where they would take hints from that song, and that one I don't know if anybody's ever covered it. I guess I'll look that up at some point to see if any bands have ever covered it. But that'd be a cool song for somebody to cover. I think that's a really good song. And Cross of Thorns, that one was like what stood out to me were the keys on it. They're really haunting and just kind of hung there in a real foreboding way. And it sounded almost like it sounded like a more mainstream accessible Solitude Aeternus. Is be the best way I could describe that song. And so I could see where a lot of bands who like the second wave of doom bands, they probably very familiar with this. It took a lot of influence from it, and yeah, it was really cool. I'm just kind of babbling on at this point. I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time, but yeah, it was really good. I'm enjoying the albums. I'm enjoying the box set. Glad I found it. Glad I could just go down the street right around the corner and pick it up. It was really cool. It was a nice little surprise last Friday, and then a lot of stuff went to seed after that as far as with my professional life. But it was cool. It just kind of we kind of get to pick this up. And it was like, oh yeah, it's a sunny day out, picking this up. This is awesome. I don't really have much to do today. And then shit started going sideways a little bit as far as with work and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, damn it. But and then I ate some pizza, and I think the pizza gave me like you could feel that's later on in the evening, feel that slow, painful journey that it was making through your digestive system. I was like, ah, this isn't going to be good. So that kind of sucked because I like pizza. I'm a big pizza fan. Being from New York, that's kind of our thing. So we're big pizza marks, as we'd say in wrestling. But yeah, I'm a big pizza mark, and I love it. I don't need as much of it nowadays as I used to, just because I'm just trying to watch my figure, trying to drop some weight. But anyhow, again, more information you didn't need to know, but I'm sharing regardless. Yeah, so that's my not quite an unboxing, but my thoughts on the Black Sabbath Anno Domini box set. It's killer. If you can pick it up either in the vinyl or the CD, pick it up. Like I said, the CD covers are kind of lame, but other than that, it's a great pickup. It's a great find if you're into Sabbath and you collect metal and stuff like CDs, vinyl, all that sort of stuff. It definitely fit right into your collections. Yeah, and then that's that. As far as what I got upcoming here pretty soon, like I say, I've been down for a couple of weeks, just haven't had time to do anything. Figure I'd do this while strike while the irons were hot, as it were, because I know a lot of people are talking about it, and attention spans and whatnot with the internet and all that. It's easier to kind of mention stuff while it's still kind of, I guess, trendy, but while I'm still thinking about it. Uh, just do this. I got a collection thing. I'm gonna do a collection update. I got some killer stuff I picked up recently that I want to share with everybody. I'm gonna do a couple reviews. I actually got one. I'm gonna butcher the band's name. I'm cheating a little bit. I like to normally have physical copies of stuff that I buy. That I buy. I like to have physical copies of stuff that I review. I like to purchase it beforehand. But there's one band I want to talk about. Their name's, I'm gonna butcher it. Zathogua. It's based on Lovecraft, one of the ancient ones from Lovecraft. But they're a black metal band. I believe they're from Germany. I'm probably getting that wrong. I'll correct it if I have to when I review it. But they just put a new album out on Osmos called We Are God, and I enjoyed that a lot. So I just want to talk about that, share it with some people if you hadn't heard it. I've been telling a couple people privately, like, hey, have you checked that out? It's really good, and trying to get people's thoughts and opinions on it. But I'll probably review that. Actually, Barry I was chatting with Barry privately, and I ended up picking up his Go to Mentis CD. So I'm going to listen to that, give it a review, let everybody know what I thought of it. Barry's a cool dude. Um, you all know Barry, so I don't have to tell you anything you don't already know. But yeah, I could do that, and then other than that, I don't know. I got some other stuff I got some other things planned, but haven't really hammered out the details on it just yet. And then yeah, other than that, just kind of keep an eye out. I stopped being lazy. I got a video conferencing app. So now if people are interested and they want to do like videos and whatnot with me, then just let me know. If I have time and my schedule permits it, I'll go on different channels and talk shop about metal, wrestling, horror movies, whatever you want to talk about is cool. I'm not really I'm not opposed to too much, and I'm pretty much, I tend to be pretty honest when I talk. I'm not trying to bullshit anybody as far as trying to do all that, what do they call it, clout chasing, that sort of stuff. Not doing that, but it'd be cool to kind of, I see a lot of people do this sort of stuff, and everyone seems to be having fun, having a good time, and that'd be fun to do. So that's something I'd be interested in doing. If anyone's interested, we'll figure out a way to hit me up either through the comment section or whatever. I guess I got to figure out like putting a link to an email or something or other, but I'll do that eventually. I'm still getting into all the technology and all that sort of stuff. So I'm getting there, just hang with me. And then, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. All right. I've babbled on long enough. We're going on about 20 minutes here. So as always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact. Don't forget to breathe. It is hot as balls here in Florida today. I'm sweating my ass off, but I also have to get a workout in, so that'll be fun. I might be 5 pounds lighter once everything is all said and done. But anyhow, I will talk to everybody next time. Have a good one. Take it easy, and I will catch you later.